Do I recycle this? Can I recycle that? Who knows? That's why we're talking about it today. We get a lot of questions in the Community Outreach Division about what to and what not to recycle. Now, your questions are great questions, and I have to admit that a lot of you are doing it right. But some of us, well, let's just watch the show, shall we? So, Ed, we're back to you.
Yes.
Now, I have all these products out here. This is kind of like my home recycling, but I want to literally talk about it. And I'm a visual person. So if I take this, and this is plastic,
Yes.
I'm looking for a number. I see it's a 2. Is this recyclable?
Yes, that is a recyclable product that can go into our single stream.
Okay, so if I were to give this to you, the do's and don'ts of recycling, this is a yes.
Yes.
Where does it go?
This right here, this is a number 2. This is definitely recyclable, and it goes into our single stream recycling bin.
Size doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about this. Clorox bleach. Is this any type of hazardous waste product?
It's not hazardous waste, and it's in its still form where it's been cleaned out. We do ask before you place it into your recycle bin that you just rinse any residue that's in the bottom, take it out of there.
So that's good to know. So if this is recyclable, but you want to rinse it out because of the chemical product
That's correct,
in it?
because it is a bleach product.
Okay,
Yes.
so this is yours.
Yes. This is recyclable. The dancing triangles at the bottom are number 2, HDPE. This is recyclable, and it can go in your single stream recycle bin.
Okay.
Okay.
What about ammonia? Yet another chemical, right?
Yes.
Is this recyclable? And do I have to rinse it out like I do the bleach?
Yes, definitely. You definitely want to make sure anything that has any type of residue that may cause an injury, to eye injury, burning injuries, may contaminate the single stream. Again, rinse those out before you put them in your single stream recycle.
So if I'm at home, can I do the honors?
Sure.
Okay. Now, that's kind of like for my washroom. Let's talk about food. I've got this syrup bottle. It still has some syrup in it. You see that? And is this recyclable?
Yes, that is also recyclable material.
Do I have to rinse the syrup out?
I would definitely, because one thing you want to think about, your recycle frequency is that it's bi-weekly. And then you're going to have this material probably in your garage or somewhere, and you don't want any vermins or roaches or anything like that to accumulate. So you want to make sure you get all those things out of the bottom.
So I have to rinse this out for more of my benefit than the city, right?
Absolutely. That's correct. So
But it is currently recyclable?
Yes, this is a recycled product, and it can be placed into your single stream recycle.
Okay. Medicine. Dayquil. This is medicine. Is it recyclable?
Yes, that's also recyclable. Yes, ma'am.
So, and do I need to rinse this out as well?
I would. Again, just want to make sure that you keep your recyclables as clean as possible for your benefit and for less contamination that may leak into other stuff.
Now, I want to talk about some plastic that might not be recyclable.
Okay.
Let's kind of switch gears a little bit. Because if I'm looking at the table, all this stuff here, that is currently recyclable, would you say?
Yes, that's correct.
Including the little tablet, little medicine bottle right there.
The medicine bottles, those are also...
That's over-the-counter medicine.
Over the counter. They also can be placed in our recycle because they are measured in that 1 through 5 that we talked about earlier.
What about this type of plastic here?
Okay.
Is this recyclable?
It's not truly a recycle, even though our water bottles, our HDP water bottles come in that, we kind of discourage wanting to recycle those, or as well as the plastic film bags, because with these plastic film bags, most people like to store them in there as they bring them to the drop-off, or even place them in the single stream. What happens when these type of materials, especially the film bags, get to the MRF? The MRF doesn't hand sort. They do it either by conveyor belt, by people, and by machinery. There's an optical sort there that actually extracts a lot of materials off of the belt. What happens is this film bag is so flimsy, it gets extracted into the optical sort and clogs the optical sort up. Then that becomes a problem for the MRF as they go through their processing techniques on getting the material out to market. So what we've talked to a lot of our local retailers, the Targets, the Walmarts, places like that, and they'll be glad to take these from you as you bring these back. Or what you can do at the time of purchase, ask for a paper bag, and the paper bag will be easy enough to be placed into the single stream cart.
So this would not go into the cart?
This or this we would not want that into our cart.
Let me give you this. What would I do with this then if it's not recyclable?
If that's not recyclable, I would say take all of your water bottles out of that. The water bottles are recyclable in our single stream, and then we'll take that and place that over here to show our non-recyclable materials.
So take the bottles out.
Yes, that's correct.
Put them in the cart.
That's correct.
And then I guess you would take all of this
Right, and
and
pour
maybe
that
dump
content
it
of that. Yes, correct.
like that.
Yes, ma'am.
But you would keep this bag.
And you can return this material either back to your local grocer and where they'll take it at, or you can bring it back to any of the retailers. They'll be glad to take that back to you. And we'll place this stuff here, which are non-recyclables. We'll place those over here in the cart.
Do not recycle it.
Do not recycle.
Okay.
That's correct.
Medicine bottle.
Medicine bottle is a number 5, I think, on there. It's a number 4 or 5. They can be recycled. I would also warn that you take off your labeling with your information on it, type of medications, because that's just some confidential thing I think you want to make sure you keep to yourself.
And take the medicines out.
And the medicines out. Please don't put any medications in there. We don't want the DEA after us.
Okay. In the cart.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, I want to switch gears and talk about glass.
Mm-hmm.
All these glass bottles on the table are recyclable, right?
That's correct.
And we talked about when we're doing it at home curbside, there's no need to separate anything, just throw them in the cart.
Yes.
But I do have a question about this glass.
Okay.
Broken mirror.
That's a broken mirror. That's also considered a plate glass or a more of a porcelain type glass. We don't want to put that in our single stream recycling.
Okay.
That type of glass can be used in road-based and other type materials, but it's not we want to put that in our single stream. So that would not be recyclable.
Do not recycle this.
That's correct. All right, and we'll place that over in here and our do not.
Question about a candle. I had a candle in here, right? Still a glass. It's kind of sticky, and it's got some candle wax residue. Can I recycle it?
That can be recycled.
Okay.
It's a jar, it's a glass. You know, if you have a lot of content from your candle left in there, I would ask that you remove that out of it. The discoloration from the fire or anything, that doesn't have anything to do with it. The smell, that's fine. But that also can be recycled in our single stream, along with our regular glass jars, wine bottles, or beer bottles.
And for obvious reasons, I will not drop this in the cart.
No, we don't want to do that.
But it is recyclable.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I want to talk about this new product here. At least it's new to us.
Yes.
We didn't recycle this a while back, and we've only started doing this recently.
That's correct.
What is it called?
That packaging there is called an aseptic packaging. The aseptic packaging is what you generally have. It's kind of have the tent top, or sometimes you see the muscle milk where it has the fold top on it. This has a waxy type outer and also a waxy inner. This particular has probably been in our waste stream a little bit over a year now that we've been taking aseptic packaging. We've worked with the MRF. They've found an in market for it, and so it's now available because most of your newer type of materials and foods are in this type of aseptic packaging. So it is good, and it is proper to put into the single stream.
Is there a requirement to rinse it out, or is it just...
Yeah, if you're going to have the milk, like the almond milks or the orange juices and things, again, I would definitely clean that out before placing it in my recycle bin.
I want to talk about something like this. I'm going to go back to a little plastic because I think we have an issue with plastics. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit. Should this go in our recycling cart, Ed?
No, I would not put any type of those into the plastic bags in here. Again, it kind of resembles the film bag, and you don't want to put that as a content in there. I would say if you have these, you can also return these to your local grocers, or you'd have to find other ways to actually dispose of this.
So if you don't, you can just throw it away.
Yeah,
that is literally, this is garbage.
Yeah,
it's not recycling.
It's not going to be recyclable.
Where would it go?
This would be over here in our content that we have over here, our non-recyclable items.
I'm going to kind of move around and grab some stuff that all this on the table is recyclable.
Yes, everything.
You see the tin cans, and is that also an aseptic? What does it say that for me?
Aseptic packaging.
I have trouble with that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Aseptic packaging. That word right there. Okay, so that one is recyclable.
Yes, that's correct.
All that looks good.
Yeah, everything.
If you see it on the table, it can be recycled.
That's correct.
Let's go with this. What about this?
Okay, aerosol cans. We found a lot of that in our audits. We don't like to recycle those. One being that when the truck picks that material up, and that stuff can actually go into when the guys pack the material in there, that has some air content that can explode, can cause fires. So we try to keep those out of our trucks.
Yeah, I was doing that. So even it was kind of coming out, but even if I shake it, I can still hear it.
Yeah,
so like that air content is still in there, even though it's empty, and people don't realize it. So don't put this in the cart.
Don't put this in the single stream. Now, although again, this can be taken over to the Environmental Service Center. People even bring their cooking propane tanks, the empty propane tanks, kind of similar to these. You can bring those over there, and there's also a market for that. But we don't want it placed in our single stream.
Do not put it in the cart.
That's correct.
How about this? Is this recyclable?
That is a recyclable item, although it does not have the dancing triangles on it. This particular item is a rigid, and it's actually a number 5. It is recyclable.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd put this together. Chick-fil-A, drinking here, probably one of my lunch days or something.
Right.
Food containers, are they recyclable?
Food containers, if the number 2 is on the bottom of that, it is recyclable. Now, if it is in the clamshell, which is kind of similar to what you have in your cup here, then those are not to be placed in a single stream.
Okay.
Now, those are number 7s. Those number 7s are recyclable, but again, not in single stream. But we do have a process over at the West Park Recycling Facility where you can drop those materials off and they can be recycled there.
Why, Ed? Why?
Well,
why? I mean, I'm just an average citizen. Now, all I want to do is my civil duty and recycle.
Right.
What's the difference?
Well, it compromises, again, the material of the content of the material and the value of the grade of the material. We have a densifier. It's set up as it's called a styrofoam densifier at the recycling center. That material actually takes that and compresses it down to 81 ratio. We like to keep those separate because that's a whole separate market. These things are sold and made. You can make everything from railroad ties to picture frames.
Wow.
So we like to keep that material and keep its own value there. When you start to put a lot of the pliable and pliable things in here, once it's dumped, it's automated dump. Once it's done, we don't want that stuff flying around the neighborhoods or contaminating or dirty neighborhoods up. So we like to have that in a controlled environment we can actually recycle it for you.
So here,
yes,
what are you going to do with those?
These right here, not in a single stream,
okay.
but we do have an outlet for it at the West Park Recycling Center.
Okay.
Okay.
So do not put them in the carts.
Yes.
Put them over there.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. I want to talk about pizza. We were talking about food. Can you grab that box there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have 2 boxes.
Mm-hmm.
2 pizza boxes.
Yes.
This one is recyclable, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Is this recyclable?
That is also recyclable. Even though you may have a little grease on here, as long as you get most of the content out of it, it can be recycled because it's considered a chipboard. And a chipboard is a lower grade of a cardboard. And so the chipboard is same darker, browner colors, but it is considered to be recyclable, and you can place that in
Okay, so now I'm mad because when we go out, we tell the citizens don't recycle the pizza boxes.
You can. It can be placed in there as long as we remove all the food content.
So this is one of the changes in the industry.
Yes,
and we can
correct.
now recycle both of these boxes.
Together, yes.
As long as there's no pizza in it.
No pizza. Please, no pizza.
All right.
Okay.
Guess I won't be mad because I'd rather recycle. Here is 2, well, here are 2 egg cartons.
Okay.
Which one is recyclable?
The one in your left hand is the recyclable one that we can place in here and the single stream recycling because, again, it's very closely and complicated to our chipboard.
Okay.
The other one's more of a styrofoam content, number 7, which is just like the Chick-fil-A we talked about, which is not supposed to be in here, but we can actually take care of that over at the West Park Recycling Center.
So here.
Okay, and we'll do this. We'll switch that up. This is a recyclable material, which will go into our single stream. This is a non-recyclable for single stream, but it can be taken and done over here at the West Park Recycling.
I think that's a key point, and I like that you made that point. It's an issue about single stream, what is and what is not recyclable in single stream.
That's correct.
So as we're changing the industry, we still have to consider what our end users are taking. Is that right?
Absolutely.
What about diapers? I don't have any diapers. But
diapers is a big no-no for single stream. You want to leave that in your black garbage cans. Please do not put that in the single stream. That
diapers are absolutely garbage.
That's garbage. Yes.
And then what about hangers?
Hangers.
I've got these hangers right here.
Hangers, we get quite a bit of these. We find them in here. We don't want them in our single stream.
Okay.
But your local cleaners will be glad to take those back to you, and they recycle and reuse those over at most of your local cleaners.
Okay, what about my dry cleaner bag?
Dry cleaner bags are they're treated the same as film bags. We want to keep those out of our single stream sort, but you can bring it back to your local cleaners. Once you take your clothes out of them, you can take them. I bring mine back all the time, and they're well to do it.
And then finally, styrofoam. I have to ask, can we put this styrofoam in our carts?
Big no-no.
Okay, why?
Okay, this right here, both of these products are very pliable and pliable. Once they get to moving and shaking, and when these guys are coming down with automated arms, they can be broken, sharp, pieced everywhere, and then you're going to have a lot of mess all in your neighborhood. That's why we actually take this block styrofoam right here, can be taken over to the West Park. We dump it in our densifier. It comes out into compressed blocks, and it's sold on an open market.
What about these little pellets here?
Peanuts, I would say you need to probably take these little guys back to your UPS stores or in your packing stores, because they'll be glad to get these back to recycle those in that manner.
Okay.
If you put these in a recycle cart, again, they're going to be flying all over the place in your neighborhoods. And then if you bring it to West Park, what happens at West Park, it's not enough density in these peanuts, like this styrofoam block, that it doesn't densify enough to make a block. So we even put these on the sides, and we have the guys come back from the packing companies and get them from us.
Okay, sounds good. And then finally, I'm going to ask you this. We're going to wrap it up. Shredded paper. I got to open this up so people can see it.
Right.
Do we take that in the recycling?
Shredded paper, we don't want it in here. Again, it's a type of material that will fly all over the place. Once the guy hits the lid off and he dumps it in the paper, you're going to have contamination all over your neighborhood.
Well, thank you so much for all this information, Ed. We appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me, Sharon. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for staying tuned in. We hope this information will be helpful to you in your recycling efforts, but if you still have questions, please call us at 311 or visit our website at www.houstonsolidwaste.org. And don't forget about our Facebook page. Reach out and give us a thumbs up at Houston Solid Waste. We're on Twitter at Houston Trash. I'm Sharon Moses, wasting no time getting to you so we all can recycle correctly. See you next time.